Niranjan Das has been introduced before. I'll quickly tell you, he was the CEO and Managing Director of Procter & Gamble and has been the Chairman and Managing Director of Richardson Hindustan. He is a widely respected marketing guru in addition to his several other hats. And I mention this because Geeta has been in advertising for 30 years.
Okay. So, I've had the privilege of knowing Geeta in my previous avatar when I lived in Bombay. And I remember her very well because of her concern for the pro bono work she did for children with special needs, and how she has devoted her life to raising funds for underprivileged children. Now, this is a hard act to follow, the last one, I must say, when we had these impassioned speeches, very legitimate and very exciting. So we need a little change in temper and your minds to sort of move from a particular gear to another gear. And frankly, I was unaware of Avayar. I mean, she lived 1,000 years ago, and it is only when I read this book, my grandmother's tweets, did I realize that this was a very extraordinary woman. And what Geeta has done is basically to dress her up in jeans and give her a cell phone and make her wisdom available to us in the 21st century. Both of Geeta's grandmothers got married when they were just 10 years old. They barely had any education, yet their wisdom was profound. But both her grandmothers had a source of knowledge which came from a most unlikely source, which was Avayar's one-liners, which Geeta calls tweets. And she was a simple, illiterate woman in the 10th century, and over the years, with her wisdom, came to be venerated, and she wrote 101 one-liners. 109 one-liners or tweets, as we can call them today, and Geeta's grandmothers, both grandmothers, would tweet them at the right time, and to basically, I mean, if it had been Shashi Tharoor, he would have got 3 million people immediately following that wisdom. So this is what I think Geeta has done. And so let's begin, Geeta, with the subject of one of those tweets. And the subject that, since you have devoted so much of your life to it, is the subject of giving. And so, what is your advice on that? Tell us these are stories, and tell us one of the stories which have really touched our hearts.
Well, firstly, you've heard Tharoorisms, you've heard Sidhuisms, now you can hear a few Avayarisms. The thing is, Nilufer has requested me to race through because it's really not fair. All of you are tired after a long day. So it's easy to cut short, but I'll tell you the essence of what these sayings are. All of you here, except maybe the very young ones, have had the privilege of having the sweetest people on earth, Nani Ma and Dadi Ma. And I'm sure if you look back on your life, north, south, east, west, hum log sunte the, chote kahawate, always in the context, "Are beta kuch kiya," so they would come up with a saying. I've heard my Punjabi friends also saying what their grandmother said. So it's kind of a universal phenomenon, except that with Avayar, it was way back in the 10th century. She was completely illiterate, young woman, who they say suddenly turned old overnight. She got wrinkles, grey hair, and people followed her because she noticed situations, people's behavior, and then just sprouted these one-liners. They've been recorded. The Tamil language is so old, they've been recorded. And 109 of them have come to me from both grandmothers I grew up with like bullets. Ek din koi, just to give you an example, like all children say, "Oh God, I'm so bored," in Tamil. She'll say, "Nool palakal," just one-liner, read elaborately, which I'm sure will appeal to all you book lovers. And coming to what Gurcharanji was saying, you know, about giving, my grandfather's house at any point of time, people coming, staying, eating. And as an only child and a real brat, I used to sit in the courtyard and grumble, you know, so many people are coming. My grandmother would say, "Aram seya virimba," which means desire to do good. And the other, of course, in Bombay, when this book was launched at the Royal Bombay Opera House by the Tata chairman, you know, we did the whole evening in dance and Bharatanatyam. And I do have you have that slide of what Avayar looked like, Dheeraj? The original slide. So this is what it was, an old Tamil village, an old woman going, noticing stuff. And we'll just show you to demonstrate a story from the book, but done in song and dance. It will just take a handful of minutes. So could we have the video? To do good.
Kata diga taka tadi kita tundi, kata cimi tak kata jum, gedim taka din, kata cimi jum, gedim taka din, kata cimi tak kata jum, gedim taka din, kata cimi tak kata jum, tadi kita tundi, dimi taka diga taka tadi, taka diga tadi kena taka tadi kena tu.
Aram seya viramba, aram seya viramba, aram seya viramba, aram seya viramba. The transformation of John D. Rockefeller. He made $1 billion by age 33, and he was among the world's richest men in the 1890s. When he earned money, he would laugh. But if he lost money, he would go into deep depression. He did not like to lose even a single dollar. Sadly, greed drove him, and losing money was his greatest fear. By sheer coincidence, he heard of an articulate Hindu monk, Swami Vivekananda, who was staying at a friend's house in Chicago. When Rockefeller entered Swamiji's study, he was struck that the Swamiji showed awareness of his anxiety and told him he was a channel for God's money. He had to be an instrument to do good for the starving millions in the world. Rockefeller felt offended and departed. However, he reflected on the conversation with Swami Vivekananda and made another visit to meet him. This time, he handed over a check to Swamiji, saying it was a donation for him. He asked him if he was happy. The Swamiji replied that it was for Rockefeller to consider whether he was happy. Over the next 15 years, after due consideration, Rockefeller set up his eponymous foundation. By the end of 2016, the Rockefeller Foundation had supported various projects around the world through grants to the tune of $173 million. Aram seyya viramba, aram seyya viramba. So there were many stories like this which we collected over the years, and we have them all in the book.
And my favorite one, talking about Rockefeller and the Rockefeller Foundation and the idea of giving, was really a story that actually you repeated in two contexts. And it's the story. Let's talk about the one with Gandhi, because it's the story where Gandhi was given donations by Bajaj, by Birla, big people. But a woman at that same time, a poor woman came, and she put and she was being shooed away, but she put 2 copper coins in the donation box. And Gandhi said that this woman's action was far greater than that of the rich people who had donated vast amounts of money, because those 2 copper coins was all the money that she had, whereas what they had given was a part of what they had. And this notion, I mean, Gandhi really touched something, and something, we have this belief in and it's a false belief. We believe that our country, the business class was not philanthropic. And the reality actually is, because I have just finished these 15 volumes that I've edited for Penguin on the story of Indian business, constantly what you come across, and I'll just tell you one little story right from the Panchatantra, where a rich merchant is giving advice to a poor merchant. That is, the poor merchant is the young man who once aspiring to be rich, and the older merchant says, well, first you must learn to make money. Second, you must learn to conserve money. Now that's a different skill. You don't put the money under the carpet, you become a banker. The third skill, he says, is you must learn how to spend money. He says most people who make money don't know how to spend money. They're either too profligate or they're too mean. And the fourth skill, he says, you must learn before you die is to how to give your money away while you are alive. So this is very ancient tweets, very ancient wisdom. And so why don't you tell us something, tell us another story, Geeta.
Well, there are 409 sayings. This book has small little stories, and I felt, all of us have grown up with grandmothers, but what about next gen? In fact, in Bombay, most people who bought books said we'll give it to our daughters, we'll give it to our grandchildren, because the Nanima, Dadima are not, we are in, nuclear families and not joint families. But what I've done in the book is that we've taken from Islam, wonderful stories from Christianity. We've been story gathering for years now. And so, for example, there is a story, there is Kirmai Agatre, Avayar would say, my grandmother would say, when I acted a bit petty, or, all kids go through that. Desist from lowly acts. And there's this wonderful story about Prophet Muhammad, peace be unto him, who goes to the mosque to pray, and every other day there's a woman who chucks garbage at him in the Quran. And not a word was said by the Prophet. He used to go home, change, and go back to the mosque. And then one day he found that she did not appear for a long time. She did throw garbage. Found she was seriously ill. He went and nursed her, looked after her. The story, she embraced Islam. Small little stories, many of them are inspirational and cover everything from let anger subside to many, many other subjects. Giving is just part of it, because Abhaya very often speaks of giving. Dhanamada Virimba, the story of Gandhi, or Aram Seya Virimba, which is what the girl danced, the story of Rockefeller. So this is replete with that. I'm just a bit nervous of Niloufar because she's given me a time limit. But suffice to say, unless you want to ask me this, it would be lovely if you can give it to your children. And more than everything else, all the signing amount that I've got in the royalty on this book is going to Kids with Cancer, Tata Medical Center, Kolkata.
Well, it's simple advice for a complex world. And what Geeta has done has brought 1,000-year-old wisdom to our times. She's made relevant to stories about our lives and people that we are familiar with. And the best thing I can say is what Gulzar says here at the end of this, the blurb on the back. This book will brighten up the faces of children and elders alike. It has done that for me. So thank you, Geeta, for this book, and lot of advice. A lot of our children now are not reading, and if you want your children to get off their devices, buy this book. It's not very expensive, far cheaper than the book that I have written. So
it's just 500 rupees. And unlike all other authors who spoken about their books and departed, this almost seems like a sales pitch. But it's coming from a good place. And I also wanted to share before I leave, one of the sayings of Avayar was Urudan Uttuvai. My grandmother kept telling me when I said, there was a time when I stood for elections in college, and my best friend who's a Muslim said, I can't vote for you because my cousin is standing for elections. And so I came and told my grandmother, how could this be? Religion should not. And my grandmother said, Urudan Uttuvai, which means keep harmony always with all religions. And you'll be happy to know that although I played the veena, sang Carnatic music, and got married at 19, I have a daughter who's married a Britisher. He's Church of England. Daughter-in-law who's Punjabi, and a son-in-law who's Sikh from Chandigarh. So Urudan Otuvar is what we've done. So I think, that's all I have to say, ladies and gentlemen.
So
and Nilufer, I've kept my promise to you.
And in fact, we have ended the session well within time. And if since we have a couple of minutes, if anybody wants to ask Geeta a question or ask about another tweet, you're welcome to do so. Good. So that means we are running now well.
That means they'll buy the book.
Buy the book. Okay.
Thank you, Fritz.
Yes. Safe child.